everyone. So the first data analytics entitled Is There a Significant Effect in the Feeding Program Intervention conducted to the elementary students of Santa Maria Integrated School for the school year 2019-2020. And the objectives of this study is conducted mainly to find the effectiveness of the feeding program conducted to elementary pupils of Santa Maria Integrated School and also the nutrition contribution of that program to the learning process of the pupils and also to assess its effectiveness, and at the end of this analytics we will be able to assess the effectiveness of the said intervention program. And the research question is there a significant effect on the feeding program intervention conducted to the elementary students of Santa Maria Integrated School for the school year 2019-2020? Okay, justification of this study is relevant in order to assess the effectiveness of such program. So through assessment of this program, we can conclude that the amount spent by the government suits to the need of the people. So there are factors that can contribute also to the success of the program being implemented, such as the menu of the food, pack selection of foods, field implementation with the personnel, and the underlying factors. Therefore, the study is timely and appropriate as ground reference of the government's program implementer. The null hypothesis of this study, based on the result of the paired sample test, the significance or the p-value is 0.00, therefore we can reject the null hypothesis since the p-value is lesser than 0.05. The data collection process of this study was conducted through the request of from the school's record in charge with approval of the school head with regards to this school nutritional status as our data baseline and end line for this study. So as you can see here in the SPSS program output, so we have here the V4. So this one, the baseline in terms of kilograms. So this is the weight of the students, elementary students, and this is the end line or the after, or in the number of kilograms of the students after the said intervention. The analytical method of this study will use paired sample t-tests since we have two sets of variables derived from the same respondents just to see the significant difference with the result. Okay, the audience of the study would be first the Department of Education Nutrition section, since they can utilize the data as aid towards effective learning or the opposite, as well as the field or the school itself, wherein the beneficiary of this study will also benefit from the result. And also the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or this WD, will also benefit from this study since they can utilize data for the progress report of the social welfare of the pupils in terms of nutrition. Okay, the results discussion. Table 1 shows the average weight after the feeding program with a mean value of 21.32 with standard deviation of 5.271 is greater than the weight before the feeding program with a mean value of 19.18 with standard deviation of 5.793. So the table 2 shows the paired sample correlations wherein it shows the significance value of 0.000. And the table 3 shows also from the paired sample test, a one-tailed paired sample t-test revealed that the weight after the feeding program with a mean value of 21.32 and standard deviation of 5.271 is significantly higher than the weight before the feeding program with mean value of 19.18 and standard deviation of 5.793 with a p-value of the significant value of 0.00, which is lesser than the p-value of 0.05. And the conclusion of this study, it is clearly manifested that the significant difference between the weight of the students before the feeding program compared to the weight of the students after the feeding program. So it only implies that there is a significant effect on the feeding program intervention conducted to the elementary students of Santa Maria Integrated School school year 2019-2020. So therefore, we can say that this intervention program was effective. And as a recommendation for this study, it is highly recommended that the feeding program implementation in the schools must be continued, since it alleviates the perennial problem of malnutrition in the students, especially in the elementary grades. As a teacher also who take part of the implementation in the field observe the drastic effect of this program. So we would like to ask the government to institute by any chance that uh, this intervention must be institutionalized, the said program. So we mean to say that if there are any chances that these activities will be implemented by the nearest local government units or known as the barangay officials, augmented by hired personnel from the community, for the reason that additional workloads of the teachers that is supposed to take charge of the learning process of the students. Some of the teachers who are assigned in the school-based feeding program allocates more time for the preparation of documents such as photo documentation of recipients, retrieval of goods, preparation of foods, distributions of foods, and other related works. So supposedly this task must be allocated or must be given to other person so that the teacher will focus on the student learning process. So this feeding program activity is very effective. So the only plea of the teachers and the other schools, especially in the small schools, it must be institutionalized, meaning we have to ask the government officials to be the part of the implementation of this program and not really handed over to the teachers will shoulder the burden and the additional workloads of this activity. This program, feeding program, it really helps the students in terms of their nutrition, their academic performance, as well as in their nutritional status. So the reference of this study is mainly the Sta.Maria Integrated School Nutritional Status Report 2019 as our baseline and the Sta.Maria Integrated School Nutritional Status Report of 2020 as our baseline. So thank you very much for listening.